It was 1939, the year of my birth, when the movie Wizard of Oz came out. In one unforgettable scene, Dorothy, the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion set out to see the wizard. The wizard was the one they believed that had all the power. Dorothy wanted to go home. The Scarecrow wanted a brain. The lion begged for courage. The Tin Man wanted a heart. But when they finally came near the wizard, they were overwhelmed by fear. The wizard seemed so unapproachable. I see the theme of today's readings as Jesus, the icon of approachability. Not a distant God, not a frightening God, not a God hidden behind power, prestige, threat, but the God of unconditional love. Always, always. In the first reading, Zechariah celebrates the approachable God as a God who does not remain aloof, but comes among the people in meekness, riding on a donkey. In the ancient world, riding on a donkey was a symbol of peace, humility. It was unlike the horse that was associated with power and war. Remember that Jesus, when he came into Jerusalem during Holy Week, he rode on a donkey, not a horse. It was the ultimate visual aid of divine approachability. Jesus chose peace. Jesus chose to come close. In today's gospel, we hear something of Jesus' disappointment and those who had power but could not receive his message. He said, "You have hidden these things from the wise and the learned and revealed them to the little ones." Perhaps Jesus had hoped that the powerful, the respected leaders would understand and get his message, but they often did not. Instead, it was the little ones, the nobodies, who got the message. Who are they? Well, they're the ones dismissed as sinners. The shepherds, the donkey drivers, the peddlers, the tanners, the tax collectors, etc. The people who did not count in the eyes of the important. To them, Jesus gives the great invitation, "Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest." Note what Jesus did not say. He did not say, "Come to the law, and the law will give you rest." He said, "Come to me." From anyone else, that could sound like arrogance, right? But from Jesus, it's the language of total union with the Father, the God he called Father. Jesus could make himself the center of his teaching only because God was the center of his life. He withdrew his allegiance from the powers of the world and gave completely himself to this God of love. And he teaches us that unless we hunger for this same oneness with God, we will remain vulnerable to every passing illusion of fame, control, delusion of power, wealth. Then Jesus says, take my yoke upon you, and learn from me. Another visual aid there. For I am meek and humble of heart, and you will find rest for yourselves. Wow. Who's not looking for this kind of rest? In Jesus' day, a yoke joined two together as a team, frequently referred to as a yoke of oxen together. So Jesus is not saying, carry your burden alone. No, he is saying, let me be yoked with you. Let me be your teammate. Let me walk with you. Let me carry it with you. The ever approachable Christ invites us to become yokemates with Christ, through him, with him, and in him. Our burdens are lessened and our sorrows are shared. But this yoke is not only personal contact, personal comfort. It's also called to take up the struggle for the healing of the world, the struggle to find alternatives to military aggression, mass murder, abortion, the death penalty, racial injustice, injustice against people who are looking for a safe place to live. We are invited to allow the unnamed Christ to disarm us. Nonviolence is not a side issue in the gospel. It is the heart of the way Jesus lived and taught. Yet too often it has been neglected because of the ego's endless need for power and control. It never gives up. As we reflect on freedom and liberty on this 250th anniversary of our country, we are invited to use our freedom, not for ourselves alone, but to serve the world. Serve the world in ways that honor a consistent ethic of life, the seamless garment. And I'm convinced of this. Before God can become approachable for us, we need to be approachable for others. To be approachable is to become a nonviolent servant of those in need, those hurting, those in pain. To be approachable is to become like the little ones, the nobodies, who are not possessed by fear, like the characters in The Wizard of Oz.